Hi, I will be demonstrating the Salesforce functionality that we've created within this sprint based upon the two use case acceptance criteria that we were given for the two use cases we performed, which were record client deliveries and record missed and redone deliveries, which we have successfully been able to generate within our Salesforce. So for record client deliveries, which is a moderately complex use case, it involved creating a flow and as well as programming some in Apex within Salesforce in order to get the process to work as correctly as it's supposed to. So I'll start here with the first part, the flow. What this flow does, called it create client interaction record. What it does is it creates a process that basically does a lookup of the route and the client tables, which is where the delivery day is stored for each client, which is when the client interaction will be developed. The client interaction record will be developed. It'll be on that delivery day at 6 p.m. And of course, for each client on that day, for the record, it's set to the delivery status. Okay, so this process looks up records within the routes table by looping through the route table and doing a lookup, finding the delivery day in the route table, and then doing the same thing with the client table, looking up, finding delivery day for each client, looping through the table. And this final element here basically creates the client interaction record based upon the delivery day that's been found within the tables. It creates the record on that day. Okay, so in order for this to actually work, we needed to create a couple of Apex classes. First Apex class we called Schedule Master. Now what this does is it basically is the core functionality of the whole process. It basically calls upon the flow, it looks at the date of the time, calls upon the flow to actually create this record, and then it creates the client interaction here. Yes, alright, and this is here the start creating the client interaction record. So here's this class is the core functionality of our Apex code. Now we needed this class to be executed based upon a schedule. So that involved also creating another Apex class called Schedule Flow, which implements a schedulable class. This schedulable class is in Salesforce what has to be used to basically get a scheduled job to actually execute. So this simply just calls the other Apex class and calls the other Apex class to run. So then we scheduled it as a job. The way we did this, we created a schedule Apex job, and it looks like this. What it does basically is you schedule this schedule flow class that I just showed you to run. So it occurs every day because each delivery day for a client can be one of the 7 days of the week. So it needs to run every day. And here start, that's today's date, and we just simply put few years in the future. There is a really strange time zone issue that it took us a little while to figure out within Salesforce that basically for Eastern time, which is our time zone, we have to put the start time 3 hours before the actual time we want it to start, which is 6 p.m. here. So we had to set it at preferred start time 3 p.m. So it was an interesting little bug to figure out. Okay, so we activated the flow here and earlier today to see if the functionality actually worked, and it did. And we did this earlier, so we had to have a different time here, but it's now set to the correct one based upon this acceptance criteria of 6 p.m. But anyhow, so we did successfully create some client interaction records. Here they are. As you can see, they were created all today, and see here, client interaction record has been created. Now, to actually be able to see when them being created on the specific delivery day, we'd obviously have to wait until that actual day occurs. But as you see, they've all been set to delivered here. So successfully created them met the acceptance criteria of automatically triggering them on the delivery schedule. They will now be created at 6 p.m. on the day based upon the delivery day for each client. And the final part, the delivery status being set to delivered, as you can see, they have been. Now this top one here, I use to demonstrate the acceptance criteria of the second use case, which is record missed and redone deliveries. Should be able to select a customer and date and edit the record created by the previous use case, change it to missed or redone. The date does not need to be recorded. Okay. So as you see here, I just simply went to this one. It's created a day by our scheduled process. It was edited it, and it was set at delivered. Excuse me. Not the client interaction. Here we go. Okay, so it was set to delivered before. I simply just changed it to redone to show that the functionality worked. I can change it to missed too if I wanted to do that instead. Therefore, we should meet all the acceptance criteria for the second use case, record missed and redone deliveries. Finally, this was not one of the two use cases that we focused on for the sprint, but based upon some feedback from our last sprint, we did some more improvements to our client. So here's the community pages. We fixed them up some based upon some feedback from the last deliverable. And they have working functionality as well. In conclusion, I believe we have successfully met the acceptance criteria of both the use cases record client deliveries and record missed and redone deliveries, and have successfully built out a strong process for this sprint, and have good working functionality for CKUGA to use.